weather with Chief Meteorologist Holden LaCroix.
Welcome back. Well, we have cleared out the clouds from this morning, but lucky for us, we have kept the cooler temperature. Still only sitting in the low 80s across the Willamette Valley right now. And more importantly, those clear blue skies. When we had the heat wave, it was a little bit hazy out there, so we'll take this as a win. There's a live look over Florence right now and over the Siuslaw. You can see those clouds offshore starting to increase. That is a sign of our approaching storm system. Yes, we are in the month of August, but we are talking about a storm system heading in toward this weekend, Friday night and into Saturday. Those details are coming up, but right now you can see across the board. Eugene, actually one of the warmest spots on the map right now. Even Medford staying shy of 90 degrees. Portland area right now staying in the 70s. And then notice the coast. We've still been locked into the 60s for most of the day, and even our passes are actually sitting in the 60s as we speak. So the even cooler weather is going to keep on keeping on through the course of this weekend. So get ready. All right, timing things out. You can see early this morning we had the cloud cover all the way down to the Umpqua Divide. That's down towards Sexton Pass on I-5 if you're familiar. But since the afternoon, we've cleared things out. And just as we do so, clouds starting to increase. Again, a very complex area of low pressure kind of brewing in the northern Pacific. We actually have the process of two areas of low pressure kind of merging over the course of this weekend. And what that's going to do is bring a constant stream of moisture here across the northwest. And yes, there's a lot of talk on social media about an atmospheric river. Yes, it technically is one, but we are going to be on the very weak side of it. So we are only expecting maybe a quarter to a half inch of rainfall versus Washington State, which could see about 2 to 3 inches of rain. So they're going to get the bulk of this. All right, timing things out through this evening, still sitting in the upper 70s, around 80 degrees. Here's Friday morning. We're starting to see a little bit of that prefrontal moisture, some scattered showers first thing in the morning, mainly north of Eugene. Can't even rule out portions of Lane County. Notice toward around lunchtime into the afternoon, that's when rain really starts to get going. You can see Newport, Florence by around 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Most of the rain's going to be in the Portland area by this time frame, but watch as it starts to make its way south. Right at the strike of midnight on Saturday, you can see steady to heavy rainfall across areas of I-5, but then notice towards Saturday morning, we're already starting to clear things out for portions like Eugene, Newport, upriver though, Oak Ridge and the Pass is still dealing with that rain throughout most of Saturday. And eventually by Saturday evening, you can see the break in the clouds and we start to see a little bit of sunshine. So what is an atmospheric river? Well, it's just a plume of moisture coming out of the northern Pacific. And you can see the direct beeline of moisture all the way across the Pacific and here to the northwest. For reference, this purple right here is completely dry air, and this yellow and green is very high moisture content. And that's going to be directed right toward us toward Friday. And take a look at some of these numbers. You can see generally between a quarter and a half inch here across Willamette Valley. Again, we're going to be watching that very closely over the course of this weekend. 7-day for the coast. Rain ends on Saturday evening, and then we're back into the 70s on Wednesday and Thursday across the Umpqua. 80 degrees on Friday. Rain mainly focused toward the morning on Saturday. Up to the Cascades. Rain likely on Saturday, but by next week, you can see the Willamette Valley. We are back into the 80s with that sunshine, even a possibility of 88 degrees on Thursday.